right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for a deep dive into something pretty cool.
Definitely. Should be fun.
So we're talking about Entropix today. Well, it's one of those things that sounds kind of technical. Like, I'll be honest, the first time I saw Entropix, I thought it might be some new fitness drink or something.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely not a fitness drink.
But it turns out this is something that could completely change how we think about AI, especially AI and creativity. And we're going to break it all down for you, even if you don't know an algorithm from an alligator.
Haha, love that. And speaking of things that sound a little strange, one of our sources called this get this, the Shrek sampler.
Okay, yeah. How could we not talk about that? I mean, that right there tells you this is interesting stuff. But before we go full donkey and dragon, and we got to lay some groundwork. So what is Entropix?
So at a basic level, Entropix is a way for AI to get more creative. You see, a lot of times AI gets a little too predictable, right? You ask it to write a story or something, it just kind of spits out the most obvious thing. But Entropix, it sort of shakes things up a bit, in a good way.
Okay, so instead of just giving you the AI equivalent of paint by numbers, it's like this Entropix helps it find its own style.
Exactly. Like it's letting the AI take some risks,
Yep.
exploring different ways to be creative.
I like where this is going, but we keep hearing this word entropy. What's that all about? Is that like a technical term or something?
Well, kinda, but it's really not that complicated. Imagine for a sec you're flipping a coin. If it lands on heads 100 times in a row, what are you going to think?
Rigged coin?
Exactly, because it's super predictable. It's low entropy. But if it's heads, tails, heads, all mixed up, it's high entropy. More surprise. And basically, Entropix uses that idea of surprise to help the AI break out of those predictable patterns.
So it's using uncertainty to make things more interesting.
Got it. Our sources also mention something called attention-aware sampling. That sounds kind of like, I don't know, AI meditation or something.
Well, I wish. Think of it like this. You walk into a room and there's a bunch of stuff going on. Music, people talking, maybe a TV. But you're only really paying attention to one conversation, right?
Right.
So attention-aware sampling, that's kind of like Entropix helping the AI focus on the most important parts of the information it's looking at, just like you focusing on that one conversation.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
So instead of the AI just getting overwhelmed by like all the data,
Yeah.
it's zeroing in on what actually matters. That's cool.
Yeah, and because it's paying attention to the right things, it can actually use that information to get even more creative.
That's wild. It's almost like the AI is like reading the room,
Yeah.
getting a feel for the vibe and then riffing on it.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really interesting
Huh.
because our sources also mention dynamic parameter adjustment.
Yeah, that one sounded a little intimidating, honestly.
Mhm.
I get it. It sounds super technical, but it's really not that bad. Let's say you're listening to a song, right?
Yeah.
And it starts off kind of quiet, but then the chorus hits and bam, everything gets louder, more intense.
Right, right.
So dynamic parameter adjustment, it's basically Entropix giving the AI that same kind of control over the volume of its creativity.
Whoa, so it's like Entropix is giving the AI all these different tools to be creative and then letting it go wild. I mean, that sounds amazing and all, but like, why should our listeners care? How does this impact them?
Well, because this isn't just about AI writing poems or composing symphonies, although it can do that too.
Yeah.
This is about fundamentally changing how we interact with technology. Think about it.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where your computer could help you brainstorm new ideas for your business. Or your phone could help you write a song. Or your kid's video game could adapt to their play style in real time. That's the potential here.
No kidding. So we're talking about AI that doesn't just follow instructions, but actually comes up with its own original ideas and maybe some jokes too. Because we can't forget about the Shrek sampler.
Oh, right. Remember how we said one of our sources called Entropix that, well, apparently, in some early tests, the AI using Entropix started producing this dialogue that was really funny, almost surprisingly so, kind of like if Shrek was writing stand-up comedy or something.
That is both hilarious and kind of amazing. So what you're saying is, with Entropix, the AI isn't just getting funnier, it's tapping into a whole different kind of humor.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's just one tiny example of what this technology might be capable of in the future. I mean, we're talking about AI that can not only process information, but can actually understand it, learn from it, and use it to create something totally new.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
I'm with you. That's a game changer. So Entropix, it's making AI less artificial and a lot more awesome. And who knows, maybe a little bit Shrek-like in all the best ways. Thanks for diving in with us today. We'll catch you in the next episode.